Okay, last day today. We're heading up now to Mumbai. Looking forward to crossing that finish line. So, whole team has been absolutely amazing. Looks like my riding partner Rambabu is with me today. How you feeling?
Very good. Almost like fresh.
Day 6. Finally. The last night was probably one of the hardest nights to get through. I was in a lot of pain. I was completely drained out. At the same time, I was looking for some energy. I was looking for that final push. Just one more time, one more day, and maybe I can get through this. The thought of going through one more day was keeping me up. I've never been in a position where I've been so tired, drained, and still can't get to sleep. But I knew that I need to try and get as much rest as possible. I was trying to find all the motivation that I could. Anything at all that will keep me motivated. I got up very early and I put together a short playlist of motivational talks. I needed to make sure that I distract my mind from the pain. I had been told that this is going to be one of the warmest days, as there was not going to be any shade today either. Similar to how it was when we were in the Rajasthan desert. I was also told that there's going to be some steep inclines today and rolling terrains. I tried not to think about it. I was thinking of all the ways of getting through this day, just any way that I could get through, and finally got my mind in a position where I was ready to roll. I knew that I have to be as positive as I can, and I managed to find that energy. I managed to convince myself that I can do this. It's just one more day, and this is not going to be the longest ride. I've done the longest rides. Fortunately for me, Rambabu, one of the riders, decided to ride with me. Riding with Rambabu gave me an additional push. I wanted to keep up. I wanted to make sure that I don't give up. Started strong. I kept a strong face. I stayed positive. I wanted to finish strong. As we started, I knew that this was going to be tough. I kept convincing myself that I'd gone through the hardest time and this was going to be easier, but it wasn't. As the day went on, it got warmer and warmer. I was going to face some new challenges today and I was ready for it.
Okay, so although it's the last day, this feels probably one of the hardest 100k that I've done so far. One of the hardest. The terrain has been very steep. There's been a few rolling terrains and there's been some very steep terrains. We've been told there's one more. And the heat is just on. The sunlight is just directly shining down on us. There's no shade at all anywhere. It's not supposed to be easy, is it? I suppose that's why everyone else isn't doing it. 109. 61 more before we finish. Let's finish strong.
As time went on, the ride got more difficult. The terrain was steeper and steeper. It wasn't going to get easier, I knew. I kept my mind distracted from the pain. Somehow there was a sense of excitement that I started to feel. And that excitement gave me energy and kept me in a positive mode. As we cycled on and reached the city, I started to face new challenges with the traffic. Equally, I was excited to reach that finish line. We kept having to stop.
Mumbai traffic is worse. You can't even get anywhere on a bike. So they say that you should leave your car at home and use this. You still can't get anywhere. The traffic is bad. It's all good. Let's roll.
At one stage, I had to stop and swap my shoes for trainers, as I kept having to unclip every time we had to stop, and the stops were getting frequent more and more. I had decided to take a stop along the way to refresh. As soon as we were refreshed, we were back on the road, and now the adrenaline had really started to kick in. This dream was becoming a reality and I could see it. The deeper we got into Mumbai, the more excited I was. The feeling was undescribable. I don't know how and where I started to find energy. I forgot about all the pain. I couldn't feel it anymore. I wasn't bothered about listening to my audiobooks, or the talks, or the playlists that I had on my phone to distract my mind. My focus now was to reach that finish line and meet my nearest and dearest who I knew were waiting for me. This was becoming real. The thoughts that were going through my head at this moment in time were just unreal. I cannot describe it in words. I was happy, I was emotional, I was drained, I was tired, I was full of energy. All of this was happening all at the same time. It was just unreal. I kept thinking of the satisfaction that I would get when I complete this. I know that when I finish this, I'm going to be a different person to when I start. And I will never forget that. Often, I see people who give up before they start. So many people have huge hopes, big dreams. Most of the time they get talked out of it, or they feel that it's out of reach. I had no punches from the start until now, and just as this thought crossed my mind, I hit a puncher. After the puncher being fixed, I just wanted to get back on the road and reach that end finish line. Riding through the city, I could see the lights, all the buildings were glowing. It was amazing. Mumbai has never looked as beautiful as it did today. I felt so thankful for all the support from every single person that had messaged with concern, with their best wishes, with all the motivation. It was unreal. It felt very, very special. This has to be one of the biggest challenges that I've ever faced in my life, both physically and mentally. And I was grateful for it. During the last 6 days, I had learnt so much. It was unbelievable. This ride was going to be proof that nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible if you really want to achieve it. And if it's important to you, you will always find a way, no matter what. I knew the real meaning of all these quotes that I've been reading for years. This was one of the most important experiences that I've ever faced. The feeling when I arrived was absolutely amazing. To see the grand reception that my nearest and dearest had organized, it was just unbelievable. I was so grateful for absolutely everything. It was unreal.
So, dedicated this ride to the unique home for girls to raise awareness and to raise funds, and I'm happy to say that I just checked the Just Giving page and we've surpassed the target. But it's not about the money that you raise. It's about creating awareness so these little baby girls don't get abandoned just because of their gender. It's a blessing. And during this ride, I was fortunate enough to ride with an Iron Man who's such an inspiration. Shankar, thanks a lot, buddy. Say a few words.
Yeah, this was a very nice ride. I really enjoyed it, and the feeling of finishing is awesome. It's a long, long way. I think so. It's not about physical. It's all about mental. I would always say that. It's a pretty long race, and I totally support this cause. I mean, I'm with you always, Jack. Good one.
Thank you.
Working hard towards a dream and achieving that dream and knowing that it can never be taken away from you. That's how I measure the success. Knowing that you've got people around you that are always going to be there and support you. Knowing that you're going to change lives around you and the lives around you change the way you are. That's success. That's what matters. I wanted to use this experience to inspire others so that they can also make moves and make huge achievements in their lives. That's success. This was a collective success for each and every person who had shown their support. This was a collective success for every single person that had shown their concern, the prayers, my nearest and dearest, and above all, the Almighty, without which of course nothing is possible.
Mumbai cycle ride of 1450 kilometers in 5 nights and 6 days with Delhi Randonneers. It was tough, but you were tougher. Congratulations.
Throughout this preparation for this bike ride, just the words of support have been pillars, and you know, this man is an amazing human and has really guided me throughout this challenge. I just want to say a huge thank you very much. Yeah, you really.
Hi everyone, good evening. We are straight live from Gateway of India in Mumbai. As you can see, we are with Jack Chima, who just finished 1,450 kilometers bike ride from Delhi to Mumbai. He did a remarkable job, and this is one of the history in our lives. And as he's already a mentor for us, and he has made another benchmark for us. How was your experience when you started from India Gate, New Delhi, and now you reached Gateway of India? So we need to know your starting experience and your finishing experience.
Well, the starting experience was from India Gate to Gurgaon. I thought, this is hard. So that was just a short bit. It was very, very tough. I have to admit it was difficult, and every day I thought of giving up. The first day was extremely difficult. We ended up in Jaipur. It's a long way to go. We sit in the car, we don't realize how far we're going. But when you're riding on the road, every single time the wheel goes round, you notice what's around you and you're pushing yourself. Of course, the thought of giving up kept going through my head. I've never done this before. You know, I'm not a professional athlete.
What was one thing which kept you motivated and brought you to Gateway of India, which didn't step you down?
It wasn't me doing it. I was having some power from way up above. That was the bottom line. I didn't think it was me. I was saying, right, you know what? If this is meant to be, it will happen. Let me just push it.
What challenges you have faced on the way coming down to Mumbai?
Every challenge you can think of. Seriously. Like knees. My body wasn't ready for something like this. I trained solidly 4 weeks for this. That's it. Some of the people have been training for over a year. There's Ironman. There's lots of different types of people that have been doing it. But the thing is, it's like, these are all excuses. Yeah, I can't do it. I was not well before the event. Even on the day, I wasn't fully well. Then my temperature returned. It's all excuses. It was all in the mind. It was mind games.
So that means you had challenges all the way and you covered all that.
Yeah, but I have to admit, you know, I didn't overcome these challenges by myself. I was very fortunate to have people with me who looked after me, who helped me get ice packs, who helped me get these bands and all that kind of stuff. Just knowing that there's the support there won 50% of the battle. But then the reason why I didn't give up is because, you know, my aim is to try and inspire people who give up before they start. If I said to somebody that 1,450 kilometers, I said, no, that's way too much. But if you don't try, you'll never know, right?
So what do you suggest, and what do you, like, now you had an experience of bike ride, so what knowledge you want to share it with the people around you?
Look, I'm just the same as everybody else, nothing special at all. Might be a little bit crazy, but nothing special at all. All I would say is that believe in yourself and don't let anybody tell you that you're not worth it or you're not capable. Everybody is blessed with the capability of doing something. And as long as you believe in your vision, anything is possible. Anything is possible. I've learned so much from this, and in all honesty, right now I'm going to need 24, 48 hours to sit down and digest. Because right now I'm in a different place at the moment. I'm still in that place. I might wake up in the morning and go for a ride.
And any message you want to give?
Yeah, I want to say thank you to every single person who sent me messages of support and prayers and blessings. It's that's the things that actually helped me to get through this. Thank you.
Gateway of India, and I don't really know how I feel right now, but one thing that I can say is that this wouldn't be possible without the support of the people around me, because I was ready to give up many times throughout this journey. Even on the first day I was ready to give up. Everybody who was with me, every drink of water, every protein shake, everything that I ate, I had support, and without the prayers and the blessings, it couldn't happen. Success is measured in more than one way. It's not measured with finances or financial, monetary matters anybody can earn. Success is measured by the way that you change lives around you and the people around you, the way they change your life. And I believe today that I've achieved a level of success that I will never forget. So I want to just thank all these people around me. Thank you.
Congrats, Jack.
Hey guys, Chris Gethin here. So, just going through Jag's program now, specifically for his tour across India. It wasn't the optimized or optimal program for somebody to go through such an extensive and arduous tour. Given that Jag only had 4 or 5 weeks to prepare for it, and while traveling constantly for meetings, taking flights across India, and on top of that, not even having a bike to train on, was definitely going to be an uphill struggle, and it was, but you know, obviously it worked out. So what we would do specifically was use a pre-fatigue method. So knowing that he couldn't put in the hours and hours and hours in the saddle as he should be, then we did a pre-fatigue method. So he would train legs in certain fashions, specific forms, before going out onto, or going in, I should say, on the spin bike or an exercise bike. If he was at one of the get-in gyms, a lot of the time he'd go on a spin bike. If he was at a hotel, if they didn't have a spin bike, then generally he was on an exercise bike. So we'd go through various types of leg workouts that included like box jumps, lunges, sled drags, the typical squats, leg press, leg extension, hamstring curls, all jumping jacks, all sorts, high knee lifts, with a lot of plyometrics, a lot of conventional methods, and then he would go onto his ride. And sometimes he would be doing a longer ride, other times he'd be doing tempo ride, other times he would do intervals, other times it'd be a combination of all of the above, which was perfect for us given the circumstances, because like I said, nearly every day he was taking a flight somewhere, he was having meetings, he had a full day of work and was on very little sleep. And like I said, the uphill factors for us was definitely a very short period to prepare for this. A disturbed preparation with, like I said, all the travel, and that he didn't have a bike, and he was about to ride like 1,500 Ks across India with no prior training. You know, he'd gone from a position at that time of not training. And did I think he would have completed this at the beginning? Probably not. I remember at the beginning I kind of tried to talk him out of it because it was too much to do too soon, but being very headstrong, he said, no, this is something that, you know, I've committed to, I want to follow through. So of course I'm going to help Jag as much as I can, but would I have done it if you'd asked me with doing, you know, pretty much zero training in the beginning? Probably not. So my hat goes off to Jag being so headstrong that, you know, he proved that if he believed, then he was going to achieve, and he believed he could do it. And as I was training him, I was believing that he could do it as well. So of course I'm going to give him all the encouragement and every secret that I pretty much know in order for him to get it done. And as hard as it was, because he didn't have any time in the saddle, he did it. He pursued it. It was a complete struggle every single day of that ride, if not every hour, but he pursued, and you know, he got through it, and he, you know, those clues of that training led to success, and obviously the belief in Jag's mind as well. So I couldn't be prouder of being a part of that and actually seeing him cross that finishing line, you know, knowing that the training and obviously the nutritional strategies that he had intact actually, you know, worked. And you know, being one of the bunch who was definitely inexperienced in these circumstances, you know, he proved himself amongst, you know, professional riders with very little training. But, you know, as I always say, it's the success and the quality behind each one of those workouts is that counts. It's not so much the quantity and how much you train. You know, it's you've got to make those reps count, and don't just count the reps. And leaving off with all the knowledge that you've got in the world ain't nothing without the mileage, and Jag put in the mileage and I gave him some of that knowledge, so it was a good combination.
And it feels absolutely amazing. Last 6 days have been, how can I put it, it's just been a huge challenge, but you know what, it's all worth it. Finally here. Thank you so much to everybody for all the support. Mixed feelings right now, but here we are. Thank you.